Alright guys, so today we are going to be subtracting integers. This is sort of just like adding numbers, but just one other little step. And that step is to add the opposite. This is the main point of this whole thing. By adding the opposite, I mean if we have 3 minus 5, all that we have to do is we are going to add the opposite. So we change the subtraction sign to an addition sign, then we change the second number to the opposite sign that it had. So in this case, this was a positive 5, but we changed it, we added the opposite of a positive 5, we changed it to a negative 5. That's the important part. We add the opposite. So I want to start off focusing with subtracting a positive number. So let's look at the first one. We have 6 minus 10. Remember, we're supposed to add the opposite. So that 6 minus 10 turns into 6 plus a negative 10. Now we just learned about how to add numbers, so since we are adding a positive number to a negative number, we first find the difference between 6 and 10. So the difference between 6 and 10 is 4. Now, which absolute value is larger? Is the 6 larger or is the 10 larger? So in this case, the 10 is larger, and it is a now negative, so the answer is going to be negative. So 6. So now if we just want to rewrite it, 6 minus 10 is equal to negative 4. Now let's look at the second one. We have negative 3 minus 4. So remember, we need to add the opposite. So now our problem turns into a negative 3 plus a negative 4. We know from the last video that if we are adding two similar numbers, in this case both of them are negatives, since both of these are negatives, the answer is going to be negative. And so all that we have left to do is to do 3 plus 4, which is equal to 7. So our final answer is going to be a negative 7. If we want to rewrite it, we're showing negative 3 minus 4 is equal to a negative 7. Remember, always add the opposite to begin with. Now I want you guys to try. Remember, add the opposite, pause the video, and unpause the video when you are finished and see the way that I solved it. Okay, so let's look at the first one. We have 4 minus 10. Remember, we are always going to add the opposite. So now it turns into 4 plus a negative 10. We know from last video, if we are adding a positive and a negative together, the first thing that we do is find the difference between the two. So the difference between 4 and 10 is 6. Now, which one has a greater absolute value? Is it 4 or is it 10? The answer is 10. So since 10 is a negative, it's going to be a negative 6. So our answer is negative 6. And if we want to rewrite it, 4 minus 10 is equal to negative 6. Now the one on the right, we have a negative 3 minus 12. So remember, add the opposite. Always add the opposite. So now we are adding two negative numbers together. So we know that our answer is going to be negative. So let's add together 3 and 12, which is equal to 15. So our answer is negative 15. If we want to rewrite it back to the original form, we'd have negative 3 minus 12 is equal to negative 15. Now we're going to subtract with a negative number. So it's the same exact thing as with a positive number, except we are still going to add the opposite. So we're going to change the second number, which is negative, we're going to change it to a positive. So in this case, when we added the opposite, we changed 9 minus a negative 2, we changed it into 9 plus a positive 2. So now all we have is what is 9 plus 2, and our answer is going to be 11. If we want to rewrite it to this original state, we'd have 9 minus a negative 2 is equal to 11. Now let's look at the one on the right. We have 3 minus a negative 5. Remember, always add the opposite when it comes to subtraction. So we're going to add the opposite. So now we have 3 plus a positive 5. So with this, what is 3 plus 5? 3 plus 5 is 8. And that is going to be our answer. So if we want to rewrite it in the original form, we have 3 plus a negative 5 is equal to 8. Now I want you to pause the video, try this yourself, and unpause the video when you are ready to see what I have done. Alright, so we have on the first one, 18 minus a negative 2. Remember, we always add the opposite when it comes to subtraction. So we're going to add the opposite. So this turns into 18 plus a positive 2. So what is 18 plus 2? 18 plus 2 is equal to 20. So if we want to rewrite it to what the original form is, we'd have 18 minus a negative 2 is equal to a positive 20. Alright, let's look at the second one. We have a negative 5 minus a negative 11. So we add the opposite. We're adding the opposite on the second number. So now we have a negative 5 plus a positive 11. Now remember, when we're adding two different polar numbers, we have a negative 5 and we have a positive 11. The first thing you do is find the difference between the two, which is 6. And then we try to find which absolute value is greater. Is 11 bigger or is 5 bigger? In this case, 11 is bigger. And what sign does the 11 have? It has a positive number. So the answer to this is going to be a positive 6. So if we want to rewrite it the way that it originally was, it would be negative 5 minus negative 11 is equal to a positive 6.